The first woman to serve on the Supreme Court, Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, died at the age of 93. Justice O'Connor played a key part in several landmark decisions. Welcome back to Capitol Review. I'm Mark Hall. Justice O'Connor died in Phoenix of complications related to advanced dementia. And joining me now is Zach Schonfeld. He covers courts and legal reporting for The Hill. Welcome back to Capitol Review, Zach.
Good to be with you.
Hey, thank you. Let's get started. Let's talk about Sandra Day O'Connor and her legacy that she leaves behind. What comes to mind for you?
Well, Sandra Day O'Connor, of course, was the first female justice to have ever served on the U.S. Supreme Court. So much of her legacy was about breaking barriers for women, not only on the Supreme Court, but also more generally in the legal field. Even before she got to the Supreme Court, she was breaking barriers. She had served in all three branches of Arizona's state government. At one point, she was in the legislature and had become the first woman to ever be the majority leader of a state legislature anywhere in the country. And that, of course, all followed after she went to law school, tried to become a lawyer, and said that she couldn't find employment. She said that after she graduated from Stanford, she had called up dozens of firms trying to get an interview, but many of them told her that they just would not hire a female. So from that and rising all of her way from Arizona to the nation's highest bench, and now, of course, she's been followed by multiple subsequent female justices of the U.S. Supreme Court. So truly one of her most lasting legacies will be breaking all of those barriers for women in the field.
Now, what are some of the landmark decisions that she voted on or supported?
Well, even though Sandra Day O'Connor was a Republican back when she was serving in Arizona, she was appointed by President Ronald Reagan to the bench. Over her more than 2 decades on the Supreme Court, she had emerged as the indisputable swing vote for about a generation on the Supreme Court. Despite being a moderate Republican and at one point talking about how she was personally opposed to abortion, she wrote the majority opinion in Planned Parenthood v. Casey, one of the High Court's landmark abortion decisions that was overturned in the Dobbs case last year alongside Roe versus Wade. On other issues outside of abortion, she wrote the majority opinion upholding affirmative action in college admissions. And so on many occasions, really siding with not only the court's conservatives, but being that independent voice, siding with the court's liberals at times, making her vote perhaps the most important for many years on the bench.
You talked about her being the first woman to serve. What else do you think she'll be remembered most for?
Well, after she retired from the Supreme Court, or announced her retirement back in 2005, retired from the court about a year later once her successor was named, her passion project became civics and trying to get students and the next generations to engage in civic education. She founded an organization called iCivics, and that was really her passion project for much of her life after she had retired from the bench. And many current justices on the Supreme Court have continued in that mission. Many of them in recent years have participated in events with iCivics. One current justice even serves on the organization's board. So that really was another one of the many legacies that Justice O'Connor leaves. And she really worked with that organization very intensely and doing a lot of work with them up until 2018, when she announced that she was withdrawing from public life and working with the organization because at that time she had been diagnosed with dementia and what she said was probably Alzheimer's disease. And the statement from the court this morning listed that as her cause of death.
Zach, back when Justice O'Connor served, the perception of the Supreme Court among voters, among residents, among citizens was different than it is now. When you reflect back on her career, it kind of takes us all back to a different time for the Supreme Court. The current Supreme Court, do you think we can kind of get back to the Supreme Court being held at a certain standard?
Well, it certainly is a very different Supreme Court back from Sandra Day O'Connor's days on the court. Back in her time, that, as I mentioned before, even though she was appointed by a Republican president, that didn't always reflect her vote. And many times she was the deciding vote in cases that folks on the left saw as victories. And at that time, she wasn't the only one. There were multiple other justices also appointed by Republican presidents who at times were siding with the liberals. So there was a very different environment from what we see today, where there are two pretty clear blocks of the Supreme Court, the 6 conservatives, all appointed by Republican presidents, and then the 3 liberal justices, all appointed by Democratic presidents. And that's something I think you saw in much of Justice O'Connor's writings and opinions on the court. In some ways, she was similar to Chief Justice Roberts, in which who currently is the Chief Justice, in which she really sought for moderation in many rulings and trying to form majorities and come to narrow conclusions. And so, of course, now the conservative majority seems to be going full steam ahead, at times overturning some of her key rulings. We've talked about abortion. Earlier this year, they overturned her precedent on affirmative action. And right now, even just this week, the justices are weighing whether or not they're going to take up another case related to abortion that would, if they rule a certain way, would overturn a precedent that Justice O'Connor was in the majority for back in 2000. So I think you're seeing a lot of these key decisions that Justice O'Connor wrote now being outright overruled by the conservatives who currently sit on the nation's highest court.
Zach Schonfeld, thank you very much for joining us on Capitol Review.